The grand ballroom in Napa Valley glowed under golden lights. Crystal chandeliers sparkled, white roses filled every corner, and silk-covered tables stretched across the room. Soft music played while waiters moved gracefully with champagne. It looked like a dream wedding, the kind you see in movies. But for me, Clara Whitmore, 28, it became a nightmare I would never forget. I stood near the stage in my elegant gown, trying to smile as guests congratulated me. Everyone kept saying how perfect everything was. From the outside, it was. But inside, my stomach was in knots. My eyes kept searching for my parents. There they were, standing quietly near the side, smiling at me with so much pride. Dad wore his best suit, the one he had bought years ago for special occasions. It was clean and ironed, but nothing like the expensive tuxedos around him. He was a simple man, a mechanic from a small town in Ohio who had spent his whole life fixing cars and machines with his bare hands. Mom stood beside him in a modest dress she had saved for months to buy. She worked long hours as a cashier so I could have opportunities they never did. They raised me with love, not money. I still remembered cold winter nights when the power went out. We would sit together by candlelight while Dad told stories and Mom made hot chocolate from whatever we had. We didn't have much, but we had everything that mattered. Ethan's family was the complete opposite. They were old New York money mixed with big tech investments. His father ran a successful investment firm that handled billions. His mother and sister moved like they owned the world, adjudging everyone with polite smiles that hid sharp tongues. I met Ethan 2 years ago in a hospital. My dad had been badly injured on a job site, and I was sitting outside his room, exhausted and scared. Ethan was there visiting a friend. We started talking, and he seemed kind and different from the rich guys I had imagined. When he proposed, he said, "My family doesn't matter. I choose you, Clara." I believed every word, but his family made it clear from the start that I didn't belong. Subtle comments like, "Ethan could have done so much better," and "in our world, marriages are strategic." Still, I hoped love would win. The night turned sour during dinner. Guests were shown to their tables. The main table filled quickly with Ethan's elite circle, business partners, rich relatives, and important clients. And I waited for someone to guide my parents to the front. Instead, a waiter politely directed them to a small, plain table at the very back, right near the kitchen doors. No decorations, no candles, just noise, heat, and clattering plates every time the door swung open. My heart dropped. I tried to go to them, but Ethan's cousin pulled me away for photos. By the time I broke free, my parents were already sitting there trying to act normal. I walked straight to the back. Dad sat straight, hands clenched. Mom's eyes were red, fighting back tears. "Dad, Mom, why here?" I whispered. Before they could answer, Ethan's mother appeared with a group of women all dressed in designer clothes. "We thought it would be more comfortable for them back here," she said lightly. "Less overwhelming." One woman chuckled. "Did you see his jacket? Oh, it looks so old-fashioned." Another laughed openly. "And those shoes? Oh my God, bless his heart." My father slowly lowered his head. Mom's hands trembled as she tried to hold her glass. Then Ethan's sister stepped forward with a smirk. "Honestly, I was worried he might sit at the main table and confuse the staff. He just doesn't fit." Laughter spread through the nearby tables. Someone added, "At least now he's closer to where he belongs." Near the kitchen, my mother's tear finally fell. She turned her face away, ashamed. I looked desperately at Ethan. He stood nearby, watching everything. Our eyes met. I waited for him to step up, to defend my family, to stop the humiliation. Instead, his sister whispered something to him. Ethan smiled, then let out a real laugh. In that moment, something inside me broke completely. Now, the music didn't matter anymore. The perfect venue, the guests, the future I had imagined, all of it vanished. I walked steadily to the stage, picked up the microphone, and the music stopped. "Enough," I said, my voice echoing clearly through the hall. Silence fell instantly. All eyes turned to me. "While you've all been laughing and celebrating, something cruel has been happening tonight. You mocked my father. You laughed at his clothes. You made my mother cry on what was supposed to be the happiest night of my life." I pointed toward the back. "That man sitting there is the reason I'm here today. He worked with his hands his entire life, fixing cars late into the night, so I could go to college and build something better. He never asked for luxury. He only asked for respect." My voice stayed strong. "And you took that from him." I turned to Ethan. "You stood there and smiled. You laughed with them while my parents were humiliated." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Ethan's face went pale. I looked straight at his parents. "You spent the night deciding where my father belongs. Now let me show you where you stand." The room went dead quiet. "The investment firm that owns nearly 30% of your company belongs to me." Confusion turned into shock. Phones came out. People started searching frantically. Ethan's father stepped forward angrily. "What nonsense is this?" I smiled calmly. "Not nonsense. Facts. I built my investment firm quietly over the last few years. I never bragged about it because I wanted to be loved for who I am, not my money. But tonight, you proved that love was never enough for your family." His mother looked faint. Ethan stood frozen. I continued, voice steady and cold. "Effective immediately, my firm will begin detaching all investments from your company. Starting tomorrow, I'm calling an emergency board meeting. Every investor here will get a full report, not just on your numbers, but on your character." Panic spread like wildfire. Ethan's father started shouting into his phone. Guests whispered furiously. The empire they had built on arrogance was suddenly crumbling in real time. I slowly removed my wedding ring and placed it on the table. This wedding is over. I stepped down from the stage and walked straight to my parents. I gently wiped Mom's tears and took Dad's hand. "Let's go home." We walked through the silent crowd. No one stopped us, and no one dared speak. Just before reaching the door, I paused without turning around. I would rather lose everything than stand beside people who don't understand basic respect. That night, we left the lights, the luxury, and the lies behind. The next morning, the video of my speech went viral. Ethan's family's company stock took a massive hit as investors pulled out. Calls for emergency meetings flooded in. My parents and I sat together in a quiet cafe the next day. Dad looked at me with proud eyes and said softly, "You did good, kiddo." I smiled back, feeling lighter than I had in years. I lost a fiancé and a fancy future that night, but I gained something priceless, my self-respect and my family's dignity, and that was worth more than any empire.